Hello again everyone, Deflect here, Firm but Fair Gaming. I wanted to bring you a video on the Survival Hunter for Season 4. The nerfs are out and it has been announced. Now, they're not as bad as what initially everyone was thinking. The nerf is actually going to be not terrible. They did buff a couple things like Raptor Strike, Mongoose Bite, Kill Command by 15%, so your single target is going up a little bit. But they are nerfing the 4-piece set, so instead, your Wildfire Bomb, instead of deals 30% additional damage, will deal 20% additional damage, and reduce damage versus more than 8 targets. So, it is a bit of a nerf, but it still will be very, very good. That you don't have to worry about. It will still be a good spec. All the Hunter specs right now are doing very well, so really doesn't matter which one you play, you can do very well at any of them. Survival is just a bit better than the other two right now. But Season 4 will be a little different, and it will still be good all the same. As for Covenants, you'll want to run Mechanicos as Curian. The conduits I use are Strength of the Pack, Reversal of Fortune, then I go to the right and I pick up Condensed Atmosphere, Rejuvenating Winds, Enfeebled Marked, and Resilience of the Hunter. Very, very good ones to have. A little bit more defensive always helps as a hunter because you are very, very squishy. As for stats, I would have went with a little bit more haste. 35 is pretty good, but definitely more verse if I could have got it. I did not get all the drops I wanted for drop my crit down a bit, but it's not a bad balance. The trinkets are going to be different in Season 4, and I don't know what ones are going to be the best right now. IQD is very good. Shadow Graphs was very good. But there will be some new ones out of the other dungeons that will also be very good, and also out of some of the raids that will be good. And I'll update that later on. But basically, if you want to just go with one stat or two stats to follow, haste, verse are going to be your best stats to go after as a survival hunter. I did get lucky out and get the staff though, which was a great staff, 278, and it was haste verse with haste heavy, so it was a phenomenal pick. Well, I got that one out of the vault. It was a great vault day that day. But yeah, haste verse, I put stamina avoidance on the back, primal stats on the chest. Everything else I blend in haste and agility on the boots. Except the helmet I put on a verse one because my verse was getting a little low and my haste was getting a little high. So that's where I am with the stats. Your main abilities. Oh, I better go through talents first. Sorry, before I go through abilities. Alpha Predator, Kill Command now has 2 charges, very key. Guerrilla Tactic, Wildfire Bomb now has 2 charges, these are all basically you run one build. Camouflage you could change up if you wanted. Bloodseeker is great to have. Binding Shot, because all your tanks will have Binding Shot. Tip of the Spear, Kill Command increases the damage of your next Raptor Strike by 25%, stacking 3 times. And Wildfire Infusion, this is what makes you do the ton of damage you can do. So your main abilities, I'll go through the defensive ones. You know, you do have, an interrupt, a stun as a hunter. The pet you'll want is almost always a ferocity pet. It's just what everyone looks for a hunter because you want to be able to lust. Couple defensive ones you have are Turtle and Exhilaration, which makes it tough because a 2-minute and a 3-minute CD do not leave you with a lot of CDs for defensives. Also, Trank Shot, you have some of the best utility in the game with Trank Shot, Tar Trap, Freezing Trap, all very, very good utility. Same with Binding Shot. Able to hold packs still. You want to use Misdirect almost on cooldown or on the start of each pull to misdirect your tank so he can just get all the aggro from you, and it makes his life a lot easier. And then you don't have to worry about getting slapped by a mob that you stole aggro from because tank aggro is not always that great. They do struggle a bit in the game just because of the high damage other classes can do, like Survival. As for rotation, it's basically you're fishing for procs. That's the whole thing. You want to use some of the big cooldowns together is what I like. Raising any arrow helps you do more damage. I like to use it with Coordinated Assault. So your resonating arrows on a 1 minute CD, your coordinated assault's on a 2 minute CD, so it lines up very well. Every other resonating arrow gets a coordinated assault. And the best time to use that is when you have a red bomb ready to go, so you can start procking and doing the extra damage while you're getting your bomb procs. And I will show you what that looks like. Usually when I start the pull, I always start with Serpent Sting, just whatever like the biggest mob is. But when you set up, you want to make sure that you have your area here, and you want to make sure your bombs are going backwards, because if your bombs don't go backwards, they don't hit targets. As you can see, when they hit, they explode to the back. Now, when I was talking about bomb procs, red bombs are what get you the procs. So red bombs can get you instant bomb procs, but you have to have a bomb back to proc. So don't throw your last bomb, because then you might not have it for when you proc. Also, your kill command will start procking them. So you want to wait. As you can see, it's almost done refreshing. Now I have two. I was all set up. You can use carve to reduce your cooldown on your wildfire bomb, but you go in, you drop resonating arrow, and then fish with kill command to try and get more procs. And as you're fishing, if you're lucky enough, you get more procs. If you're not lucky enough, you use carve at the end so you can huck another bomb and hopefully get a red bomb. And when your red bomb procs, you go back to fishing with kill command to try and get more procs. And that's the cycle of it. Basically, your whole gameplay is around setting up so you're in the right way, so your bombs actually hit the right direction. And other than that, you'll be just fishing for red bomb procs. And once you get a proc, nothing else matters. Just throw the proc bomb and go back to trying to fish for some more. It's a pretty easy rotation, but it's just making sure your positioning is going to be the most important part. And unfortunately, when this spec doesn't proc, it doesn't feel very good. When it does proc, it feels amazing. So when you're out there, just remember to carve, because you want to get your bomb back. Basically, all you want is red bombs. Red bombs are good bombs. So when you're running low, you can always reapply some Serpent Stings. You can waste the time. This is filler time where you're looking for a red bomb. I now have a red bomb, but I need it to be the cooldown of it to be closer. So when I'm procking and it procs, I actually get the proc and I have a bomb to use. Because if you don't have a bomb to use and you get the proc, you have to wait until you have another bomb to use before you can use it. So that's the big key. Making sure you have a bomb to throw when it's procced. Otherwise, you just waste damage and sit there. So it'll take some time to get used to. I have a mouse over kill command, so it makes it easy. So I can just mouse over each target and it just applies a bleed, because it does a little extra damage when you do that. It was just something I got because it was just easier than selecting different targets, because you always want to be on the front one. So mouse over kill command, I definitely recommend. And then, like I said, when you see you have a red bomb coming up, you have one ready, this is where your setup is. You just make sure you put everything down before. So put your resonating arrow, put your coordinated assault, use it, and then you can see when you get a bunch of procs in a row, it feels really good to go through. When you don't, it'll eventually end. And when you have more targets, you get more procs. But yeah, it's basically just a setup class, and when the setup's done, you can get some very good damage very quickly. And if you get lucky enough to proc many times in a row, it's even better. But always make sure you have a bomb left. Otherwise, you'll be sitting there looking at procs and not doing much damage. And as you can see, I wasn't fully focused on doing the full rotation, making sure I did it 100% correct, but my damage was 26k overall on 5 or 6 targets. I forget what one that is. So very good damage. Very fun class to play when you get a lot of procs. Not as much when you don't, but very good damage, so it always feels good. As for Season 4, it's not going to change much. You still will do great damage. You're going to lose a little bit on the AoE, but you still will make up a little bit on the single target. But it'll still be a top contender for classes. It is weird going from a ranged DPS, if you played a lot of marksman, a lot of BM, to a melee hunter, because you're in the area melee, and melee usually gets hit pretty hard, a lot harder than range, a lot harder to avoid stuff, and you are one of the squishiest classes in the game. So that it will definitely be a little bit of an adjustment period, but definitely try it out. It is a ton of fun to play. Always fun to do big damage. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe. Deflect, Firm but Fair Gaming. We'll see you in the next video.